Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing the Jungle Book, the new Jungle Book, the live-action one. I have no expectations. You all know how I feel about live-action Disney dark remakes and stuff, and hey, I loved the Jungle Book as a kid, and I did see it recently, the original Disney Jungle Books, and still a huge fan of it. Whenever I see other people's review of that movie, they seem unduly harsh for some reason. I don't know. But, I don't know. What? When I think back to the original Jungle Book, I do love it. I do think it's a classic. But it's somewhat flawed. I mean, for instance, as an adaptation of the original story, it's god-awful. But, also, there is some level of padding to it. But I think it flows really well for what it was. So, yeah, I don't think this is exactly going to be as big an insult as, say, I don't know, Cinderella. So, it's... But, I don't know, I really just don't want it. I don't want to see this. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Not looking forward to it. Yeah, let's get it over with. Well, I hated it. I hated almost every minute of it. There you go. I'll get the main thing right out there in the open. Mowgli himself gets a lot more attention in this than he does in the original Disney film. And he is played basically by it's a monster kid from Octopus 2. And I hate him. I want him to die. I hate them so much. That is the most glaring one, but there are others. This could be worse. I guess, technically on the scale, this is not the worst of the live-action Disney remake category. For one thing, there isn't an obnoxious narrator telling us what everyone is supposed to be feeling at that specific point. No, just the clunky writing does that for you. Like some wolf in the background saying, "He's never gonna make it into the team!" It's like, we got that with the visuals. Thanks. I hate this movie so much. I need to get into more details, though. I think the most, insulting part to me, that the original Jungle Book, it was clearly a musical. They had musical sequences. This movie, it had the balls to open up with the classic jungly theme from the first movie. You'd recognize it if you hear it. They open up with that, setting the mood, promising that they're gonna deliver, that level of satisfaction. And then most of the movie is scored by a generic orchestra, like what you'd hear in an Avengers movie. And it's such a huge contrast, it's so terrible. And I bet you it was just added, later on, hey, you gotta have the music from the original. It's a huge cash grab, that's why. It's based on cheap nostalgia. For instance, they have 2 different song sequences in this, and you can guess which ones. the only two most people remember from those movies. Yeah, Bare Necessities, I Wanna Be Like You. And both of them are underperformed to the level where it basically flips you off. I can't... Especially for Bare Necessities, they went to the trouble of pretty much recreating that whole scene in real life. Like, with Mowgli on Baloo's stomach as he's paddling down the way, and everyone just sounds so disinterested. Like, Bill Murray, I'm sure he tried, but he was not given good direction on this. He sounds so bored. If I hadn't seen the original movie, I'd be confused by that scene. Why are they doing this? And same thing with the I Wanna Be Like You. My God! My God, the I Wanna Be Like You scene. I mean... Can you believe how excited I was when I was sitting there and he was brought before King Louie, and he was played by Christopher Walken. King Louie, played by Christopher Walken. That is the greatest idea mankind has ever had. And they screw it up. He's doing his old Christopher Walken spiel and stuff. He's like, oh, man cub. I can't do a good Christopher Walken. Man cub, I need your red flower. That's not as sexual as it sounds. It was great. It was awesome. It was actually bringing a smile to my face for the first time in this stupid movie. And then they go into the I Wanna Be Like You, and it opens up pretty good. He starts singing the first verse, and like, okay, they're building it up. And then he gets to the chorus, and everyone's just sitting there. You know, King Louie's just sitting back, all of his monkey friends, they're kind of going like that. Nobody's moving that much. Underplaying the whole thing. And it was like flipping the bird. I was even gesturing, like, to myself whilst watching it, like, okay, you're doing it, you're doing one thing right, please, give me this. Just, alright, and now open it up. You have a whole temple to explore, a really interesting set. It's underlit, it's got lots of crumbling ruins and stuff. You could have a lot of fun with this. Just open up the musical sequence. No. We don't do that. This movie's focused on action. Kids don't respond to music anymore. We need... we need a buffalo charging at people like it's the freaking Lion King. We need... some sort of big, stupid, fiery action sequence for the climax. We need some sort of shitty climatic ending that... God damn it. Yeah, so this is more an action movie over a musical. You know what? That is fine. You can do that. But stop pretending... Stop barely attempting to give us that kind of... Stop pretending to be something you're not. Just for the adults who are reminiscing. Can you believe this movie's actually been getting decent reviews? I can't believe it. Cinderella did too. Cinderella was worse in my opinion, but this movie's just getting on my nerves. I am really sick of these types of movies. You know, I actually was so sick of it that I decided to check something out. I decided to do a little research to figure, because I couldn't remember this. When was the last time that Disney, discounting Star Wars, the Muppets, the Marvel movies, anything like that, any of its licensed products, discounting those, when was the last good Disney live-action film? I looked. I looked real hard. And I discovered that the last time that they made a definitive good movie, live action movie, was Pirates of the Caribbean. First few movies, sure. And of course, since that's the only good one they've made in the last decade, that was 10 years ago. They made like 15 sequels or something. But I also realized that 2006, early 2000s Disney, they were doing like Crunk's New Groove and stuff. So I was like, well, what was before that? And I looked, and I applied the same scrutiny, and I found that the last good live-action Disney movie before that was The Santa Claus in '94. Over 20 years ago. Before that, we had Flight of the Navigator, we had The Rocketeer, we had a bunch of quality films. And then a 20-year slump with one break in the middle that was which had all of its attributes quickly stolen by a whole bunch of other things and lazily slapped on to try and make a quick buck. But I almost feel sorry for Disney because, like, it's not like they aren't trying new things, but they always fail. They're like Nintendo. I mean, the things that aren't sequels or live-action remakes, they're like John Carter, Tomorrowland, things that clearly had somebody trying to achieve a vision, but it doesn't work. I was saying, like, this has to be some sort of sign if you're so stagnated that you can't make a good movie to save your life. You really need to consider what you're doing wrong here. And I'm not talking about profitable. Many of the movies they've been making are profitable. I'm sure this is going to make one, but I mean, like, good quality. It seems outside of animation, Disney just can't do it. And to be honest, it's never really been able to do live action very well. I mean, you look back and you see 20,000 Leagues, The Black Hole, Mary Poppins, of course, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and then very little. You get Herbie, and then it kind of peters out. It's like they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to live action stuff, like 90% of the time. Jesus. So yeah, getting back to the movie at hand, I hated it. It looked nice, I guess. But, once again, not the worst. I hate Alice in Wonderland more. Maleficent is from the devil. As I said, Cinderella. All of those. This might actually be the best of them, but I'm just so fucking sick of this. Of them not trying. Not even trying to give us something good. You know, I kind of bet that if they were planning on making a new live-action Tarzan, that they would make it pretty much like that CGI Tarzan that I reviewed. Pretty much, except they would also make references to those they would also make references to the music from the first Tarzan movie. Like, that's how lazy they've gotten. So yeah, don't watch this. Vote with your wallets to save that. Like, this has no value. Demand better product. That's all I can say. End these stupid live-action remakes that they're not even gonna do anything with. It's just for names. And you know, the first Jungle Book wasn't perfect. There is room for improvement. But you gotta actually improve. Not just reference and water down. There was another Jungle Book movie back in '94, or '96 I think, that also got decent reviews, but nobody remembers it now. The week before this Jungle Book movie was released, was anyone talking about the '96 Jungle Book movie on the internet? Was anyone doing, like, was CinemaSins doing something for that? Was He-She doing something for that movie? No, it's for the Disney animated one. Because that one actually has a soul. Whether you enjoyed it or not, people with passion actually put a lot of hard work behind creating its whole world and bringing a story to life. And this, just so corporate. So terrible. Yeah. I don't know, apparently Warner Brothers is planning their own, but it's been delayed a little. Maybe they'll try something different since they seriously don't have the rights to those songs, so we'll see. Maybe they'll go more for what the book was doing. We'll get something different, but yeah, don't see this movie. Please don't. Don't give it any money. And until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been... What the hell? Wow, this universe is really cramped.
Excuse me, is this the main universe?
What? Hold on.